First of all, I would like to give a brief introduction, brief overview about Sri Lanka. The Sri Lanka, the climate, our agriculture is mainly based on the rainfall pattern. So looking at the climatic seasons of Sri Lanka, we have main two monsoons, the northeast monsoon and the southwest monsoons are the two major rainy seasons to Sri Lanka. And in between, we have the first intermonsoon from March to April and the second intermonsoon from October to November. And the major cultivation season is the December to February season. We are getting rainfall from northeast monsoon. And looking at the climatic and topographical regions of Sri Lanka, based on the climatic conditions, especially the rainfall distribution, Sri Lanka is divided into three climatic zones, namely wet zone, which receives greater than 2,500 millimeters annual rainfall, while the intermediate zone receiving about 1,750 millimeters to 2,500 millimeters rainfall. And the dry zone is the 2/3 of the country, which receives less than 1,750 millimeters of annual rainfall. And based on the topography, again, Sri Lanka is subdivided into three regions, namely the upcountry, which is having elevation above 900 meters, and the mid-country lying between 300 and 900 meters, while the low country is having elevation below 300 millimeters. And based on the rainfall distribution, soil type, land terrain, and the land use, again, Sri Lanka is subdivided into 46 agroecological regions, where wet zone is subdivided into 15 agroecological regions and intermediate zone into 20, while the dry zone divided into 11 agroecological regions. And we have different types of soils in Sri Lanka. From there, we have mainly 13 types of soils. These are distributed among the these agroecological regions. And these are the major soil types of Sri Lanka. The highest type of soil type is the reddish brown earth, which distribute about 25% of the area. And low humic clay, where the paddy cultivation is done, and also the red yellow potsalic soil is about 22.8% distribution, where the plantation crops are cultivated. So the mainly these three soil types are having like 62% of land is covered by these three types of soils. And according to the USD taxonomic classification, the alphisols, ensols, and alpsols are found in these regions. And as we all know, one of the major threat that we have is the climate change. And this is a threat to the whole world. And being a tropical island in the Indian Ocean, Sri Lanka also has consistently been placed among the top 10 countries at risk of extreme weather events by the Global Climate Risk Index. And we have the natural resources that the Sri Lanka's economy and the employment is mainly depend on natural resources. So the climate change will have significant consequences on lives and the livelihood. And the water sector also, we have the Sri Lanka ranks highly on Global Climate Risk Index for climate change risk to water, because the country's water infrastructure and the security are vulnerable to quality, quantity, and the salinity intrusion because of the high pollution, as well as secondly to India, we are the country who is taking more than 87% of water for the agriculture purpose. And the drought, floods, and landslides are also we are experiencing, because Sri Lanka has experienced prolonged droughts during past years, and the flash floods and landslides due to the higher rainfalls. And the forest cover is declining day by day all the time. And now it ends up with 29.7 forest cover from the total land area. and also this sea level, due to the sea level rise, we are experiencing that the seawater intrusion to the rivers Sri Lanka. And looking at the climate vulnerability in Sri Lanka, this was a survey conducted in 2013 and repeated in 2024. In there, the climate vulnerability of different districts in Sri Lanka were identified in 2013, especially the Kilnochi, Mullaitivu, Mena, Vaunia, Putlam and Ratnapura districts were identified as very high vulnerable districts in Sri Lanka. But with the implementation of this climate smart technologies as well as adaptation methodologies, except 2 districts by 2024, other districts moved from very high vulnerable level to high level. So this is a positive move that we can see that this, except this Kilnochi and Mullaitivu, other areas have moved from a very high vulnerable to high risk category with the implementation of C-SUCSeS technologies.
Dr. Senanayake, I'm so sorry to interrupt. It was just, this is an introduction. So right now your slides are not being shared. So if that is the case, I thought this was like you were just giving a preliminary introduction to the whole thing. But I assume if
you can't see the slides are moving.
No. Can you just try sharing it again?
Yeah, I will stop share and I will share again.
Yes. Can you just, yeah, please go ahead first. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so I will quickly go through the slides because the first slide I was given was the I was given an introduction to the climate seasons of Sri Lanka. That our agriculture is mainly depend on this the monsoon rains, and the major cultivation season is the northeast monsoon, and in between these monsoons we are having this first inter monsoon and the second inter monsoon, and based on the climatic and topographic, we have subdivided Sri Lanka into subdivided. We have 3 climatic regions like dry zone, intermediate, and wet zone. And based on the topographic arrangement, again based on the elevation, it is divided into 3 regions called upcountry, mid-country, and low country. And we have this agriculture, again, the Sri Lanka is subdivided into 46 agricultural regions. This wet zone is divided into 15, intermediate zone into 20, and dry zone into 11. And from this link, actually, you can have a close look of the land terrain, the soil types, and the vegetation in different agricultural regions. And we have like major 13 types of soils in Sri Lanka, and mainly the 3 soil types, reddish brown earth, low humic clay, and red yellow podzolic soils are distributed more among the lands in Sri Lanka. And lastly, I said that as the other countries, we are also facing the threat of climate change, because being a tropical country and also in the Indian Ocean, Sri Lanka has consistently been placed among the top 10 countries at risk of extreme weather events by the Global Climate Risk Index. And we have the natural resources which directly related to the economy and the employment. So the climate change had significant consequences on life and the livelihood. And also in the water sector, also we are in the Global Climate Risk Index, climate is high because the country's water infrastructure and security are vulnerable to quality, quantity, and the salinity intrusion. And we are also experiencing drought, floods, and the landslides over the past few years. And we are losing the forest cover over the decades now. and its decline now only makes up 29.7% of the total land area for the forest. And this is the last slide I was explaining, the climate vulnerability in Sri Lanka. This survey was conducted in 2013 and 2024. In 2013, there were like 7 districts were identified as very high climate vulnerable districts. But with the implementation of the climate smart agriculture techniques and also the interventions, it has been, those districts have moved from very high level to high vulnerable districts, except Kilnochi and Mullatiu area. And next, let's look the climate impact in Sri Lanka. As I mentioned earlier, the climate vulnerability ranking is Sri Lanka is in the 104th place out of 185. And looking at the cause of annual average disaster losses in 2020, the losses were like 65% losses due to flood conditions, and 22% due to cyclones, and 10% due to drought, and 3.5% due to landslides. And looking at the extreme weather events in the past 30 years, floods have affected more than 10 million people in Sri Lanka. And drought is a major challenge for livelihoods and food security, affecting nearly 8 million people between 2008 and 2008. And the sea level rise also we are experiencing in Sri Lanka. And also the food insecurity is a serious challenge for Sri Lanka. And it was estimated that 17% of the population experiencing moderate acute food insecurity in March 2023. And also the climate change threats also threaten to worsen the situation by affecting the food and water availability. And the Sri Lanka is also known to be one of the 36 biodiversity hotspots in the world, with the wealth of endemic species, but the country continues to face the serious environmental challenges like deforestation of lowlands rainforest and degradation of urban and coastal wetlands. And these threats also pose risk to ecological balance and the well-being of the people. Normally, in average, 750,000 Sri Lankans on average affected by natural disasters per year. And for these disasters, we had to spend like 313 million US dollars annually related to housing, infrastructure, agriculture, and for relief purposes. And this 19 million Sri Lankans live locations says to be moderate to severe climate hotspots by 2050. And also it was estimated that 1 to 1.5 temperature rise will be there by 2050. And looking at the impact of climate change in Sri Lanka, there's a slow and continuous rise of ambient temperature. And there are frequent occurrences of extreme weather events, like because now the droughts and floods, it's increased, and the high intensity rains are increased, and due to that the landslides are high, and tornado type winds are high, and also intense lightning strikes are increased, and the total number of dry days also increased. And due to that, the number of warm days increased, and the number of cold nights also decreased in the country. And these are some photos of showing that in last year, during November and December, around 40,000 hectares of paddy lands were destroyed due to the floods in 2024. And this is how, these floods were there in end of year as well as at the beginning of the year. So both the seasons were affected due to the heavy rains. And on the other hand, in 2023, we were experiencing heavy drought, and there was no water even for irrigating the paddy lands in that time. And let us see what are the things that we can do to overcome this. This climate smart agriculture is an integrated approach to managing the croplands, livestock, forest, and fisheries that addresses the interlinked challenges of food security and accelerating the climate change. And there are three pillars of climate smart agriculture: adaptation or the resilience, mitigation and the productivity. And the climate smart agriculture is lying in between these three. And the climate smart agriculture strategies that are adapted in Sri Lanka, we have divided into 6 thematic areas. And I will explain from one by one. The first thematic area is the crop management. We have moved to the crop diversification rather than depend on one crop. And also the crop rotation with shortage legume crops, because our breeders are working on developing shortage crops, so we can overcome the severe conditions existing in the field by introducing these shortage crops for the, especially for the dry soil. And cultivation of stress tolerant crop varieties, especially for the shortage varieties, stress tolerant varieties. In paddy, the saline tolerant varieties have been introduced by the breeders. And the protected agriculture for high value crops are also practiced, and also the rain shelters, which can be used as a remedy to avoid these extreme weather conditions and do the continuous cultivation of high value crops in these conditions. I think you can see the slides are moving now, ma'am.
Yes, yes, we can see.
Okay. And the seasonal adapted planting times and planting with the onset of rain, because the Department of Agriculture have developed these planting calendars for different zones. Different zones and mainly for the other field crops, most of the vegetables and paddy. And this parachute method of paddy seedling broadcasting is also popular among the farmers, because they are getting advantage of using this parachute method, because it's easy for them to go for the weed controlling as well as for mechanization of the plants. And dry sowing of paddy is especially practiced in drier parts of the country, because they are doing the sowing of paddy to the dry land, and with the onset of rain, it is starting the germination and giving rain with the available moisture, with the available rainfall. And technology packages for OFC seed production was introduced, especially for maize, onion, and chili. And we are going to introducing the cover crops to reduce the soil moisture evaporation, and for the weed controlling. And home gardening is also popularizing among the people to have a food security, to ensure the food security. And in the wet zone, due to the poor drainage conditions, the cultivation challenges are there. So the sojan cultivation is practiced, and also introduction of new crop combinations into the cropping systems is also coming under crop management. And these are some of the photos of the techniques that I was mentioning earlier. Third season mung bean cultivation. This is under crop diversification, because normally we are cultivating mainly during the monsoon seasons, but these short-term legume crops are cultivated in between these seasons as the third season crop, with the available soil moisture and the nutrients in the paddy lands. And this parachute technique in seed broadcasting, and also working on screening of rice varieties for drought. And this is the dry sowing of paddy. and onion to seed production under rain shelters are practiced. And this is the introduced crop diversification strategy. The third season cultivation concept. We have selected especially the mung bean. The green gram is cultivated as well as some of the cowpea varieties. And the water management practices are depend on the availability of water, because especially going with the residual moisture in the soil. If there is extreme weather conditions only, we are going for supplementary irrigation. And this is actually the farmers have shown that 12.5 cost reduction in third season cultivation compared to the conventional major cultivation season of this crop. And the technologies developed for the off-seed seed production, for the big onion, and also for the chili hybrids that were produced in Sri Lanka, and the maize hybrids bred in Sri Lanka. And also, this is the introducing of crop varieties, because the yams are, especially the diaspora, was cultivated in the wet zone of Sri Lanka. From we have during last 10 years, we were working on this diaspora species, and out of 42 accessions, we have identified major 5 diaspora accessions that are suitable for cultivation under dry zone conditions in Sri Lanka. And these are some of the photos where we are getting like 20 to 30 tons per hectare of yield during 8 months of crop. And also we have distributed this among the farmers as well as universities and schools for the popularizing among themselves. And these are neglected crops in Sri Lanka, most of the countries, but having a high value, high nutrition quality, and there are health benefits as well as good answer for the food security in future. Because these the diaspora species, they need less amount of water, and there are no recorded manifest or disease incidences in Sri Lanka. And the second thematic area is the soil management. Soil is also one of the factor, the natural resource that we have to consider in the climate smart agriculture. The introducing of multi-purpose soil conservation funds and terraces for the farmer lands, because just giving some money for the farmer to establish a bund will not work, because they are thinking that if they use this land for making bunds, that they will lose their land which is available for planting some kind of crop. So to overcome that problem, this multi-purpose soil conservation bunds and terraces were introduced, because we have introduced some kind of economical crop to be established on these terraces, like pomegranate, moringa, or some kind of legume crop, where the farmer can gain some kind of income from this bund. So the farmers now moving for this multi-purpose soil conservation bunds rather than just for having soil conservation bunds. And the contour planting is also promoted among farmers because they can reduce the soil erosion. And also application of organic manure is promoted because it will ensure the nutrient retention in the soil as well as moisture and having a good condition for the soil microorganism. And biochar application, mulching is also practiced, and develop new protocols for site-specific fertilizer recommendations, because at present also we have developed this for rice, and also we have the color chart based nitrogen application for chili, as well as we are working on maize as well. And next thematic area is the water management, the rainwater harvesting, because this rainwater harvesting is done at the farmer's land, as well as also we have the man-made tanks in dry zone of Sri Lanka, where the rainwater can be harvested and the irrigation during the drier times. And to reduce the use of, increase the efficiency of water use, the drip and sprinkler irrigation systems have been introduced. We will discuss them in detail in the case studies. And the plot consolidation of paddy fields and laser leveling is also conducted among farmers in the lands, because with this, the mechanization will be easier, as well as it will reduce the loss of inputs. And alternative wetting and drying in rice cultivation is practiced, and recharging of groundwater through percolation pits. This is conducted in areas where the sand content is high, because of the drainage is really high, and this water is again taken out with the percolation pits. And rehabilitation and maintenance of cascade systems in the dry zone. Most of the climate smart agriculture projects are involved in this activity for rehabilitation and maintenance of this man-made cascade systems in the dry zone of Sri Lanka. And the thematic area, next thematic area is the energy. Now the photovoltaic lights for agro farms, protected houses and storage houses are promoted, and also solar powered water pumping is becoming popular among the farmers, because the initial cost is high, but thereafter there is no cost for them for doing the irrigation and their practices, and also going for the biogas technology in their home consumption, And the next thematic area is the agroforestry and the perennial crop production. The agroforestry is also practiced, integrated into the agriculture, mainly in the land terrains in the upcountry. We have these small land parcels for the paddy, and on around these paddy lands we have the forest coverage, and this is also practiced in the mid-country as well as in some of the dry areas. And the crop livestock integration is also practiced, and the boundaries and hedgerows are also established in the fields, in the farm fields, and introduction of fruit orchards and the cultivation of multi-purpose nitrogen fixing trees for to be used for the cultivation purposes. And the next thematic area is the weather forecasting. The Agromet advisory and alert systems are available. Our Department of Agriculture, the Natural Resource Management Center, is working on this. They are normally giving the seasonal advisory as well as monthly advisory. Then the farmers can have can know how the season would be, as well as they are giving the water availability in the tanks, the man-made tanks, how much water is available, how that can be used for the agriculture purpose. So this Agromet advisories and alert systems are available for agriculture. Let us look at the approaches that are taken to increase the adoption of CSA technologies. The development and adoption of micro-irrigation based high productivity crop management packages. In these systems, please let's see the smartness in agriculture. It is water smart because of the high efficiency. Energy smart because most of the time it is working with the we are working with solar power, and the carbon smart because carbon emission is zero with this, and the nitrogen, and it is nutrient smart because of we are doing the fertigation, and it is weather smart as well as looking all this, it is becoming knowledge smart in these technologies. And the Department of Agriculture, we have developed this agronomic management package for chili and drip irrigation. And this shows the package. We have added the cattle manure, straw mulching, and the split application of fertilizer through fertigation is done. And we are obtaining average yield around 45 tons of green chili per hectare with the local hybrids. And this is the average, but there are some farmers who are getting like 70 tons per hectare of green chili without hybrids with using these packages. And the water productivity is like 50% increase compared to surface irrigation. And it is a labor saving because irrigation is we need less amount of labor, as well as weeding is weeds are controlled with using the mulching. And it is energy saving in irrigation because of the solar powered irrigation. And these are some of the case studies, and with this drip irrigation based chili cultivation package in dry zone of Sri Lanka in the area of Anuradhapura. And this is how the yields that they have obtained from quarter acre of land. Because in some of the areas, the national average green chili yield is around 5 tons per hectare, but with using these climate smart packages, the farmers are obtaining like 5.5 tons of yield with 0.25 acres of land. And this is the cost benefit analysis of this package. The total cost is given and the total income and the profit is also mentioned here with this drip system package for chili cultivation in Sri Lanka. And there are some other projects also. They are using this package. They have implemented the Department of Agriculture Development package for their stakeholders, and the agriculture sector modernization project. They have taken our package to their farmers, and they have obtained maximum yield of 65 tons per hectare and with the minimum of 30 tons per hectare. And on average, they have obtained 45 tons of green chili from 35 to 40 weeks during 11 months of time period. And smallholder business partnership program, the SAP project, they are also using our package, and average yield, they have recorded 50 to 60 tons of green chili per hectare with this climate smart technology package. And also we have developed agronomic management package for chili under sprinkler irrigation. And in here, the manual application of fertilizer, including micronutrients conducted, unlike in the irrigation. And in here also, the yields that we can obtain 45 tons of green chili per hectare with the hybrids. And the water productivity is lesser compared to drip, but 30% increase compared to the surface irrigation. And the agronomic management packages for onion under drip irrigation. In here, we are obtaining around 40 tons per hectare of big onion yield, and in here also 50% increase water productivity compared to the surface irrigation. And this drip-based onion cultivation package in farmers' fields, in we have practiced that under Provincial Agriculture Extension Service, Provincial Department of Agriculture, Mahaveli Authority, and Agriculture Sector Modernization Project. And this is some of the data statistics that we have implemented among farmers. We have done like demonstrations like 28, and the agriculture modernization project, they have like 50, and other projects altogether we have like demonstrations 375. Majority of farmers obtain yields that greater than 35 tons per hectare, and some achieve 40 tons per hectare yield, because in onion also the national average yield is around 17 tons per hectare with conventional methods. But with the climate smart packages, they have introduced agronomic packages, they have obtained up to 35 to 40 tons per hectare of yield. They are big onion. And these are some photos of big onion through seed production under drip irrigation. And these packages can be used for other crops also, like cabbage, radish, capsicum, tomato, beetroot, novel, and chili as well. And this is the agronomic management packages for onion under sprinkler irrigation, also introduced by the Department of Agriculture. And there is this private sector involvement is also the Keels and the Cargills are the major supermarket channels in Sri Lanka. They have the forward contract farmers with them. So they are using our packages with their farmers, contract farmers with 20 different types of crops. Let us look at the advancement of existing CSA technologies and practices. And now the solar water pump coupled micro irrigation based crop management packages we are working on, because then we will become water smart, energy smart, carbon, climate, nitrogen, and knowledge smart in future. And also this multi-purpose soil conservation plants, this we can easily upscale them, because now these are popular among the farmers. And normally we keep sufficient space like 20 meters is in between the bunds for machinery operations. And the perennial trees that are cultivating on the bunds are like Sesbania, Moringa, pomegranate, lime, and Glycidia. And these are some photos of these different crops, because from that they can get a natural income, and the sustainability of the bunds are there, and the maximum utilization of the land as well. This multi-purpose conservation bunds. And the compilation of available CSA technologies practices in Sri Lanka, this inventory of CSA technologies with detail of their target climate risk, spatial suitability, farm accident ratings, and target farm systems were done under the consortium for scaling up climate smart agriculture in South Asia under C-SUCSeS project in 2023. And normally the CSA technology dissemination strategies that we have are the field demonstration, as I mentioned earlier, and visits on successful farm fields with the taking other farmers to those fields, and video, audio programs like TV, radio, and YouTube, and social media. We are having this Department of Agriculture social media Facebook page and WhatsApp groups, and we have the leaflets and booklets, street dramas, individual meetings with farmers, and hands-on training are there. And looking at the main policy documents and plans related to CSA in Sri Lanka, the National Agriculture Policy, the draft, it's in there. The promote adoption of appropriate adaptation and mitigation measures to increase the climate resilience in agriculture systems, and then strengthen the food system by connecting urban and rural communities to tackle the climate shocks and other disasters. And the nationally determined contribution, NDCs in the Paris Agreement, is updated in 2021, and now updating again in 2025 to reduce the post-harvest losses and value addition of fruit and vegetables, increase crop productivity, and improve the adoption of renewable energy for crop farming and value addition. And the Sri Lanka Climate Prosperity Plan 2022, and government have started work on climate prosperity plan to fully commit to supporting the Paris goals to limiting the global warming to 1.5 centigrade. And looking at the international collaboration in CSA related programs and the projects, the Atlas of Climate Adaptation in South Asian Agriculture, ACASA, is a comprehensive atlas aims to provide granular scale information for South Asian countries by integrating various spatially categorized data sets, and it aims at improving access to climate risk and solution options and litigants of South Asian countries. And the development of Soil Atlas of Asia and the National Soil Information System and AFASI is also there to objective is to develop soil information of for Sri Lanka and make available to national global soil information system. And the consortium for upscaling climate smart agriculture in South Asia, C-SUCSeS project, the goal is to promote sustainable and resilient agriculture in South Asia through enhanced capacity to scale up CSA strategies and technologies. And the main objectives are to accelerate the identification of land scaling up of viable CSA interventions through national policies and programs in South Asia, and to set up effective and efficient mechanism for knowledge sharing, policy dialogue, and cooperation in research and development programs among SAARC countries on climate smart agriculture. And looking at the main categories of constraints in adoption of CSA technology practices in Sri Lanka, this first one is the inherent risk associated with technology adoption. Secondly, the inadequate exposure and know-how. And third one is the unaffordable capital cost for smallholders. And the recommendations, finally, the recommendation in scaling up CSA technologies. The first one is site-specific selection and adoption of CSA technologies, because all the technologies are not work with everywhere. So based on the cropping pattern, soil type, and the topography, this may vary. So based on that, this technology should be introduced. And holistic approach in implementation, because we can't do individually. So with central government, provincial government, and Mahavali, Sri Lanka, we have to work together as a holistic approach. And the promote CSA through already implemented national programs and projects, then it will be easy for us to take these technologies to the farmers, like GAP, Soil Act, and the cultivation planning programs, and establish resource sharing mechanism among farmers through community organizations. Because now the high capacity solar water pumping systems and high capacity water tanks are introduced, so the farmers can share among themselves and do their cultivations, and enhance the CSA knowledge availability to all stakeholders, and encourage the involvement of private sector, including agribusiness and input suppliers, in the production and distribution of these CSA technologies. And the government subsidy scheme for CSA infrastructure development is also needed. And that is the end of the presentation, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Senanayake. So you can unshare your screen. I request the audience, we are open to any questions that you would have on the presentation. That was a very detailed and comprehensive presentation as well, Dr. Senanayake. Thank you so much for that. If anyone has a question, please feel free to raise your hand, and I will. Okay. Dr. Sikandar, your hand was raised, I think. If anyone has a question, please.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, Dr. Sikandar, please go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Very good presentation, Dr. Saab. One good thing I have come to know regarding the dissemination, that street drama is used for dissemination. This is a good new thing for me, for the dissemination of any technology. Street drama, you have mentioned that you are also doing, using this kind of method to disseminate.
Yes.
One good, very good thing. Another thing is that in the chilies production, onion production, other crops, you have mentioned use of cattle manure about 15 tons and straw mulch 5 tons. My question is that either cattle manure is available in a large quantity, easily available, and straw mulch, which straw mulch is used? Rice straw is used, or any other crop? And its quantity, availability, labor, cost of production, it is cost benefit ratios okay, you think, by using such quantities of?
Yes, this cattle manure, normally in every season we don't apply, we are applying on the second season. And this rice husk is available because most of the areas we have the rice cultivation, because normally most of the time they are cultivating rice in the major season, and in the next dry season they are going for upland crops especially. So the rice husk is available. And also these farms are, because these farms are in small area, like 0.4 4-acre demonstrations we have done. For those, it is available because they are once the people they see the profitability of this, they are trying to find these inputs by themselves and they are trying to implement by themselves. Yes.
Cattle manure is available on large scale, easily available.
In the dry zone also we have this cattle farms from there, as well as in the households also they have the cattle. So sometimes they can't find this exactly the 15 tons per hectare, but at least they can go for some amount of application of this cattle manure. Yes, it's available.
Right. Thank you, sir.
There are two questions in the Q&A chat box as well from Mr. Ayub Hussain. The first question is, what is the status of adoption of CSA technology in farm level? And the second question is, what is the contribution of renewable energy in agriculture against MDC in Sri Lanka?
Yes, the contribution of it's like the renewable energy up to now, it's like for the agriculture, it's like less than 10%, as I know. It's 10%. Yeah. The other question, ma'am, is?
Yes, the other question was, what is the status of adoption of CSA technologies at farm level?
In farms, because one of the shortcoming we have seen that the investment capacity of the farmers are low, but with the because there are many projects working on this climate smart agriculture, in there are many subsidies are given. So in normally the 50% contribution is given from the farmers. Sometimes it's 75% and 25% has to be paid by the farmer. In that cases, their adapting rate is really high because the initial cost cannot be bared by every farmer. But with this, once they see the profitability as well as the outcome of their crop, there are some farmers who expand their cultivation with this smart agriculture technologies by their own. It is we have seen in the farmer field.
Mr. Ayub, I hope that answers your questions. We have another question by Ms. Chuni Zanmu. What is the crop duration of hybrid chili and how much is the ROI?
Hybrid chili, if it is well maintained, we can go for 11 months, like 35 to 40 we can go. And normally other crops, they are harvesting, the OPVs, they are harvesting within 5 to 6 months.
One more question, Mr. Syed Abbas. In legume-based cropping systems, which system has been proven best regarding yields of the crop? Oh, I'm so sorry. Before that, the previous question regarding the duration of hybrid chili,
Yes.
Ms. Dango has also asked about the return of investment, the ROI from the crop. Do you have any comments regarding that?
Sorry, I didn't get the question, ma'am.
So she has asked, what is the crop duration of hybrid chili, which you have already
Hybrid chili, we can go for up to 11 months.
And how much is the ROI, the return of investment on that?
Actually, I don't have the idea about that.
Okay. Okay. So, Ms. Anwar, in case you want to come online and just have like clarify that question further, please raise your hand and I'll unmute you and we can have a discussion with. Okay, yes, she has. Just ma'am, please go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, doctor, for your interesting presentation. It's really good to see that the yields of lots of crops are like very high compared to what we have in Bataan, especially the hybrid chilies. Out here in Bataan, the maximum yield that we have been able to reap, especially the farmers, It's just about 5 to 6 metric tons per hectare. So I was really surprised by your 45 tons like per hectare. So I was just thinking, how much does farmer invest and how much is the return actually?
Actually, in presentation I have shown that because this in Sri Lanka also with this hybrid, the national average is like that 5 tons per hectare. But with using this the agronomic packages that we introduced, the drip irrigation with the fertigation and the mulching, they have obtained 45 tons of average yield. But there are some other farmers, they have also going up to 70 tons, 70 tons per hectare of yield as well. In here, normally they are getting, if I can share, I can quickly show the stats of that as well.
Yeah, you can share your screen, but right is still there. Just wait for it.
Yeah. You see that in total cost is like this much with the 0.25 hectare, 665,000, and then they have got like 2.6 million income, and the profit is like 2 million.
Oh, thank you. That's a huge one. So if it's okay to take some more time, is it okay?
I think it should be checked again. 45 ton, 70 ton per hectare is a big yield. Maybe hybrids.
Yeah. So I was thinking that you mentioned about using sprinklers in irrigating the chilies, right?
Yes.
And I also saw that you recommend mulching with the straw. So just drawing from the experience from Batam, so if we don't usually recommend using sprinkler irrigation because we have lots of issues with blight, chili blight,
Mhm.
and the other thing is the harvesting of chili is the most like labor intensive, and farmers are actually discouraged by that one. So I was thinking, what is the weight of per chili, how big it is, so that the cost reduces, the labor cost for picking reduces, right? And is this chili developed in Sri Lanka? So 3 questions. Thank you.
Yeah, in our variety also, every week we have to pick the fruits. That is normal. So this is how normally the yields that they can get with every pick like this. It is labor intensive, but still it's profitable. That's why some of the farmers who are continuing with the chili cultivation, they will not move out from chili cultivation because of the profit that they can get. Because this chili is mainly cultivated for green chili.
And this variety has been developed in Sri Lanka by the
Yes,
scientists?
yes, yes.
Agronomist?
This hybrid is developed in Sri Lanka.
Okay, so you mean to say that with the normal management, the same variety yields just 5 tons per hectare, right?
Sorry, yes, yes, with the normal management.
Okay.
And this actually this national green chili average, it includes the OPVs as well, because we have several OPs also cultivated in Sri Lanka. So this national average comes with all the varieties.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Not just for that hybrid chilies. So it's average of OP and hybrids. That's why the yield is low.
Yeah,
But in
because this
general,
actually this having a potential more than 25 to 30 tons of potential, but with the agronomic management improvements, they can go up to 45 to 50 tons as well.
so if the farmer has to choose between the recommended agronomic practices and they are not able to do all the practices, which one would you recommend to be prioritized?
Mm, because drip irrigation and fertigation, it's have a huge benefit for the farmers because it's saving the water in one side as well as it's saving labor as well. Because then they don't need to go for the manually application of fertilizer manually, because through the fertigation they can do. Yeah, because mulching, sometimes some farmers, they don't go for mulching because of the finding of material, and also because rice straw cannot be kept for 11 months. But for the first few months only, actually the mulch is needed. Thereafter, the crop is, the ground will be mostly covered. So actually the most suitable management is the drip irrigation, and the fertigation is recommended.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chune. The next question is, we have 3 more questions actually. So with that, because we're already close to the time, we'll the next question is, in legume-based cropping systems, which system has been proven best regarding yields of the crop?
Legume based. This mung bean, the mung bean rotated with maize is having an advantage in both crops. Because as well as soybean, because for the soybean, by the we have this we are doing the soil inoculation. From that, we can totally cut off the nitrogen fertilizer requirement. In there, it's most of the time soybean is profitable as well as mung bean compared to cowpea. Yes.
Okay. Mr. Abbas, I hope that answers your question. The next question is Mr. Abdul Rahman, is from Mr. Abdul Rahman. Is asking, would you like to highlight the effect of climate change in Sri Lanka?
Sorry, ma'am.
Could you highlight the effect of climate change in Sri Lanka? Maybe if you could just very briefly tell us what were the key impacts that have been noticed when it comes to climate change in the country?
Now the most problem is the rainfall pattern is changed heavily, because normally, like last 5 to 10 years, last 5 to 6 years, normally the cultivation is started based on the time of the rainfalls. But now the times are delayed, the shifted, especially as well as the what we get is that so I say that we are getting like splash rains during a short period of time, and the drought is extended further.
So, Dr. Firdaus, I will unmute you so that you can ask your question directly. This will be the last question because I think the one is finished. Please go ahead, Dr. Firdaus.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
So you are saying the potential yield is 25 ton per hectare chili, but you got the more than 45 ton. That means sometimes 50 ton. So is this yield almost double only used for agronomic practices? It's possible in case of your case, you got it more than 45 ton.
Sorry, sir.
You are saying the potential yield of the hybrid chili is 25 ton.
Yeah, 25 to 35. Yeah.
35. But you got the more than 45 ton, and sometimes it's maybe 50 ton.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that is almost double. The yield is almost double. Only
Yes.
for the it's possible. It's only for the agronomic management.
Yes, this agronomic management, with the agronomic management package, yes, sometimes Yes, actually, with these agronomic management practices, and because now we have changed the fertilization pattern as well in this under this management package. Because at the time of the variety was breeding, they done with the existing fertilizer recommendations. But with this introducing of new agronomic package, we have changed the fertilization strategies and the irrigation strategies as well. With those, yes, I think we have obtained that yields.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So the last question, Dr. Senanayake, is from Mr. Lalit Amaratunga. He's asking what percentage of is the farmer readiness to adopt climate change reliant practices? So what is the percentage of farmer readiness to adopt these CSA practices?
Actually, like what we have seen in the areas where these climate smart agriculture projects are implemented, they are like if they are getting some kind of subsidy for starting their activities. Like 75% of people, they are ready to accept these technologies. But the problem, as I mentioned earlier, that the capacity of investing by alone is a problem.
Okay. So, Mr. Amaratunga, I hope that helps. I know it's not the exact it's not the exact percentage, but he has all explained the reasoning behind the regarding subsidies. With that, I would like to now move towards closing this. Oh, there is a follow-up question. So we'll just take that one final question and we'll finish it here. I'm sorry, Dr. Senanayake, there is one follow-up where he's asking, how is the sustainability of such adoption level possible?
Up to now, because we have in the dry zone, we have a climate smart village, which is closely working with the Department of Agriculture. Now it's like 6 to 7 years we are working with them. These farmers, they are practicing these technologies, as well as now they are self-reliant, because they said that they don't need any inputs, because now they can go by themselves like that, because yes, that's how they are working, because once they are established, they are willing to conduct their activities with these technologies.
Okay, so if there are any more questions, you can just leave them either in the chat box or even after the presentation is over. I have dropped my email ID in the webinar chat and you can send them there and we can discuss it with Dr. Senanayake to send you the responses on those. With that, we will be closing the session. Thank you so much, Dr. Senanayake, for taking out the time to present this detailed presentation with us and for staying on for explaining all the responding to all the questions. I would also like to thank the audience for your engagement and staying on till the end and asking all these questions and making this a very interactive session.